Good evening. Welcome to Cutting Edge Arts and Entertainment newsletter. It's a podcast, and I'm speaking with
Garfield Ellis.
Garfield Ellis,
Yes.
and you're here at Calabash. You just had a reading.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born in Jamaica. I come from a large family. I engineering. I did marine engineering first. Which means that I'm an engineering officer for ships. I can work on ships. I did some of that. Traveled a lot, but I want to write, so I had to make a decision on that. So I went back to school after engineering and went to do my master's in fine arts. So just to get the writing thing going. So far I've published 5 books.
Wow.
And
what are the names of the books?
The last novel is Calabash Literary Festival, the one I read from tonight. It's a migrant novel. The one before that is For Nothing at All, which covers the gang violence in Jamaica, but it covers it by tracking the lives of 5 young men from pre-adolescent to after adolescent, and to see how many of them survived past 18. And it shows how they evolved and how the violence and the politics destroyed their lives.
Interesting. That book, the one you're just telling me about.
For Nothing at All. Yeah.
Did you actually go in to communities for your research on that book?
I grew up in one of that.
You grew up in the inner city. Okay.
It was like writing about my friend. So it was for me. I could safely say that when I was like 25 years old and was going to college, I knew that 50 to 60% of my friends that I grew up with from age 10 to 12 were either dead or in jail. And 50 to 60%. That was a life statistic. I know from my personal life, based on how I grew up, 50 to 60 and probably more were either dead or in jail by the time I was 25. So I understand that. So I was very lucky to get out.
Yeah.
Very, very, very lucky.
And the other book?
I have another one called Such As I Have, which is a novel about a cricketer. It's a love story about a cricketer falling in love with this young lady in the movie. And then I have 2 collections of short stories, The Flaming Hearts, which is the first collection, and Wake Rasta.
How often do you write? What's your turnaround time on books, because you have 5 books? When did you start writing, rather?
Well, the turnaround time on books is not a measure of how often I write. I think that I write a lot. I try to write as much as possible, but because I've always had to have some sort of corporate work to pay the bills. So I have novels that I'm halfway through that I started 6 years ago, and which I'm dying to finish. So I try to get up in the morning early and write 2 or 3 hours before I go to work. But sometimes you have the exigencies of your job prevent you from doing that. So you are thinking about the work from 5 o'clock, so you can't do the writing. So, but I have a novel I just finished called The Angel Share, and I have like 3 others that I'm halfway through. I'm trying to finish now. So I have work, but I say the discipline of writing is difficult when you have to make a living at something else.
So you heard me talking to Alicia McKenzie just now about Virginia Woolf.
Yes.
You must have a room.
Yes.
One must have a room of their own in order to write.
Yes.
It's remarkable that, speaking metaphorically, really, you don't have a room of your own, really, because you have a job and you've been able to accomplish all of that.
I think in that respect, I think it's impressive. Because I know people who write full time who have not completed so many books, and I know people who, in the corporate world, whose corporate climb has not been extensive as mine, and that's all they do. So in both, to accomplish that on both levels is very interesting. I've never stopped to tabulate it, but people have remarked it.
I have to remark it.
And I've done a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's how it is. But what I'm trying to do though is try to get out of that, and so I can write better. I'm happy with my writing now, but I want to spend more time on my work and live a more literary life.
Literary life. Where are you based?
I live in Jamaica, but I'm moving to Canada.
Okay.
To see if I can do that.
Calabash.
The Calabash is something special. I was acquainted. I've been acquainted with not in a very important way from the beginning, because I had met Colin Chandler very early before Calabash. We had many discussions, and I remember calling me from a train. I think it was Paris or something like that. Listen, man, come museum. We have this idea, and so I have always felt that it is a very important festival and important for development of writing, not just in Jamaica but the Caribbean, but it has evolved into an international festival. And because of that, it has become so important because it highlights writing. Very interesting that a lot of the stories that are written and people come to Calabash to write about the community. Funny enough, my last novel that I was telling you about, The Angels here, is set in southern St. Elizabeth. It's a very interesting reason too. But that is a critical thing for Calabash, that in a way, so it has improved a lot of writing, it has created a lot of writers. And but what you want to make sure that the community of St. Elizabeth is also represented on the international scene, so that development occurs. And ultimately then it will not be just Calabash itself, but the community itself.
There's public opinion, and I just had a discussion a while ago, just maybe an hour ago, that perhaps the organizers of Calabash may not, this may be the last. I don't know how true it is, but if it were, it would be a tragedy.
It would be tragic.
It would be tragic. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think Calabash has to collapse. I think that I'm not familiar with what. I mean, it's easy to stand on the outside and say, yeah, it should go on. I mean, I don't know the work that the people do and the time that they have to do the work. My feeling is that Festival of its nature, and that has grown, cannot be the beginning or end of this festival, and the end of the festival cannot be dependent on the on whether or not the organizers can do it. It should not be dependent on that. I mean, because I feel I work in the corporate world to a very high level, so I understand how these things work, and I'm sure that that if the people who organize and people whose brainchild it was are able to create a sort of an organizing management committee that does the work. I mean, you're going to ask, how is it funded? But that is how it should really work. So they really just have the ideas. And so you have like a secretariat that operates continuously throughout the year. And if you can, and so even if all three guys, then the festival will go on because they will have put the ideas in the secretariat. That secretariat will have someone who runs it, will have a structured secretariat with people responsible for the different facets. And so it will continue. So it can't be that because so the people who begin Calabash who may be overworked now and stretched to just keep it running because they would not have to do that work if they structure it in a very as a management situation, and they would be like an executive board that meet 2 or 3 times a year and say this is what we want, and the secretary executes. And then they now would ensure the quality on the day of Calabash. They could take over back the things that they used to take over. And
that the creativity is still maintained.
But
the pure literary festival.
But the day-to-day run of a festival is not a difficult thing, and it's not the job of the people who run it, whose ideas it is. It must be the job of a secretary that operates.
Or of people who know how to organize and...
it's an organization. An organization operates on different levels.
Well, I'm talking about the business aspect.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So there's an operational level, there's an executive level, and there's a board level. So you don't want the people at the board level to be doing the operational stuff and the executive stuff, because that is why that it's going to be too much for them. And what it does is it removes from the festival its independence and its ability to function, and also to bring fresh ideas into it. So it doesn't have to collapse. It doesn't have to end. So something like this should perpetuate itself, irrespective of the fact that the people who organize it are not able to participate in the long run.
On a personal note, what have you found beneficial about Calabash on a personal note?
Calabash, the networking is good. I mean, I read here at the beginning, I read at the first two festivals, and it's the first time I'm coming back, because they have a thing about repeating writers too much. And so I try to support it every year. I come down here and I support it, and I network. You get to network, you get to meet interesting people. On a personal level, that I have done. You meet publishers, you meet editors, you meet all cross-section of people who have come. So So that is for me on a personal what that's done for me. So, but generally I like to come, I like to contribute, I like to and the lime is fantastic, you know that. You know, just to come and hang out and have a drink and talk to interested people. That is really
This is my favorite part of it, talking to people.
Yeah, that is what I think most people like about it. Lime. It's a way to get out of Kingston for 3 days and just hang out with people who like what you like. And I don't think I'm in a festival of that. That lime, you know, and the party in the night and the this and the that.
Camaraderie.
Right. So just the time. So and you don't get to hang out with people like that. So and so even if you don't get to network, you can talk to people and it's cool.
Okay.
I think that is what makes Calabash special.
Well, Garfield, you see my equipment.
Yeah.
Quickly tell our subscribers where can they get your books to buy?
My books.
And hold the book up.
Still I'm not where can be gotten and several places. You can get it in the bookstores in Jamaica, in Canada. You can get it on Amazon.com and you can get it through my website, GarfieldEllisBooks.com, and the publisher's website, and their Insomnia at and they are out of Canada. So there's several places you can get it, and most bookstores have it on their website. So you go to, so it's not just Amazon. You can get it on most big bookstores throughout Europe. Well, I've seen it on most big bookstore websites. You can all see it.
How about if we carry it on our newsletter? What we do with the authors, we put the link.
Yeah, sure.
And we ask our people to support it.
Please, I'd appreciate that. And you can put the link on my website also, GarfieldBooks.com, because we also have a line of greeting cards that are funny Caribbean-style greeting cards with nice little. So and those have been doing very well.
Okay.
So if you link into the website, you get a couple of them.
All right.
The e-cards.
Mr. Garfield Ellis, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We're happy to have you and to feature you in our next issue of the Cutting Edge Arts and Entertainment newsletter.
Yeah.
We hope to see you in New York.
Yeah,
call me.
I call you.
Call me.
Information. I have my website. I'm also on LinkedIn. So just you got the call, right? So
yes, I did.
So
and say a big up, as we used to say on the radio, to our readers and our listeners.
Well, a big up to all the readers and KuttingEdge. Well, you have a fantastic editor here, and she did a great job. And I hope that your endeavors are successful.
Gotta be. Thank you so much, Garfield Ellis, and all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.